1. Strangled and Erased. In the early 1970s, New York was not ruled by law. It was ruled by 5 families. One man rose too quickly. He controlled money, access, information. For years, he decided who got paid and who stopped existing. That kind of power creates enemies. One night, he was invited to what he believed was a routine sit-down. No shouting, no argument, no warning. A wire tightened around his neck, quietly, precisely. By the time the car reached the river, the decision had already been finalized. His body was never recovered. Inside the Mafia, disappearance is not mercy. It is administrative closure. 2. Dragged through the streets. In southern Italy, it began like an ordinary evening. A mid-level capo returned home after dinner. He didn't know his loyalty had already been questioned, not for talking to the police, but for dealing with rivals. The night before, they took him from his home. No trial, no explanation. His body was dragged through narrow alleys, slowly, deliberately, long enough for every eye to see, clear enough to require no explanation. By morning, shopkeepers opened as usual, and the body was still there in the middle of the street, uncovered, untouched, windows closed. No one asked questions. In this place, everyone understands. Death isn't only meant to end a life, it's meant to remind the living where they stand. 3. Killed where he felt safe. The reason was simple. He knew too much, and he was getting careless. In the Mafia, that combination is fatal. In the late 1950s, a rising enforcer had begun speaking out of turn. He questioned decisions, he tested boundaries, and worse, he believed familiarity meant protection. During a quiet dinner, he excused himself and walked into the bathroom alone. A locked door, a private space, the place where he felt untouchable. One shot ended it. No struggle, no warning. By the time diners noticed the delay, the balance of power had already changed. No chaos followed, no panic. In Mafia culture, safety is an illusion. Privacy does not protect you, it only ensures there are no witnesses. 4. Hands that spoke too much. In the Mafia, accountants don't carry guns, but they hold something far more dangerous, the entire flow of money. This man started out simply doing his job, keeping records so nothing went wrong. But over time, he went further than he was allowed to. Not just mental math. He kept copies, private ledgers, lists of names, expenses no one was ever supposed to ask about. The reason was simple. He became afraid. Bosses changed too quickly. Men who were present one day vanished the next. He believed that if something went wrong, the paper would protect him. That belief was the mistake. When rumors of the ledgers began to circulate, the decision was already made. No interrogation, no warning. When his body was later found, everyone understood. This was not a killing driven by hatred. It was risk removal. In the Mafia, memory is permitted. Evidence is not. 5. Disappeared at sea. He didn't betray them with words. He betrayed them by holding back money, late reports, delayed shares. And in the Mafia, delay is a form of confession. No confrontation, no warning, just a quiet invitation. Let's talk out at sea. It's more private. That night, he boarded the boat with familiar faces. No visible weapons, no tension. Only the sound of waves and a slow-moving engine. Once the boat was far from shore, the conversation ended. No gunshot, no body to recover. The next morning, the sea was calm, and he never came back. In the Mafia, the sea is not a place to hide. It is a place to erase. 6. Ciaculli Massacre, Palermo, 1963. The original target was Salvatore Greco, a central figure in the Sicilian Mafia in the early 1960s. At the height of the First Mafia War, Greco had vanished from public view. He moved constantly, avoided routines, and kept himself out of sight. To kill him, gunfire was not enough. The plan was simple and brutal. A car bomb was planted in the Ciaculli district on the outskirts of Palermo. The device was meant not only to kill Greco, but to erase the body and all evidence. No corpse, no crime scene, no questions. But Greco never arrived. On June 30th, 1963, police received a report about a suspicious vehicle. A bomb disposal unit and soldiers were dispatched, believing the device could be safely defused. While they were inspecting the car, the bomb detonated prematurely. The explosion tore through the area, killing 7 police officers and soldiers instantly. The vehicle was completely destroyed. The scene was effectively wiped out. The intended target, however, was nowhere near the blast. What had been planned as a silent mafia execution became a national catastrophe. The Ciaculli massacre dominated newspaper headlines across Italy and forced the government to launch its first large-scale crackdown on the Mafia. 7. Buried in concrete. Italy, Lombardy, 2015. A man vanished without a trace. No emergency report, no crime scene, no witnesses. At first, police treated it as a routine disappearance. The man was Massimo Guerra, 58. A construction worker living quietly with no major criminal history. What made the case unusual was this. The missing person report did not come from close family, but from his former lover. She said Guerra had left suddenly. No belongings, no phone calls, no return. For years, the investigation went nowhere, until detectives uncovered irregular financial movements, cash transfers routed through intermediaries, and links to the Italian Mafia. The truth slowly emerged. The woman behind it, Guerra's wife, had hired the Mafia to eliminate her husband. The motive was not sudden rage. The marriage had collapsed, assets were being divided, and Guerra was preparing to leave to live with his former lover. She did not choose divorce. She chose erasure. According to later testimony, Guerra was lured to a construction site. There, he was killed. His body was placed into a foundation pit and sealed under concrete. No grave, no body, no evidence. Only years later, when a Mafia insider cooperated with authorities, was the location revealed. The concrete was drilled open, and the truth surfaced. And in the end, the case was reduced to a cold conclusion in the newspapers. 8. Erased by fire. In 2009, in Milan, Lia Garofalo disappeared after what seemed like an ordinary meeting. She had once been part of the 'Ndrangheta, then became a state witness, leaving the Mafia world to protect her daughter. The meeting was arranged by her former partner, a Mafia member, not for reconciliation, but to end it. Lia was killed that night. Her body was destroyed by fire, no grave, no trace. The truth emerged when Lia's daughter cooperated with police, sharing the final details before her mother vanished. Arrests followed. In 2014, an Italian court ruled, Lia Garofalo was murdered by the Mafia for betraying the organization.